Welcome back to Momentum Academy. In this lesson, we're going to take a complete tour of the Bubble editor. By the end, you'll know exactly where everything lives: the main tabs, the elements tree, the property editor, the responsive view, and the key options that will make your work easier. Let's dive in. First, notice the pages drop down in the top bar. This is where you can switch between different pages in your app or create new ones. By default, each app has an index page, a forgot password page, and a 404. For now, we'll be working on the default index page. On the left side of the editor are the main tabs. These are the backbone of Bubble. First is the Design tab. This is where you'll add everything users see and interact with on the page. Under that, we have the Workflow tab. This is where we will add functionality to our app. Then we have the Data tab. Your database lives here. You'll define data types, fields and option sets, and set privacy rules for security. In here is where the data you collect in your app is stored. In Styles, you will manage fonts, colours, and style variables, which help you keep a consistent design system. Plugins, this is where you can install and manage third-party plugins like Stripe. Settings, here you control your app's domain, SEO, API settings, and other configuration options. Then, lastly, we have Logs. Here you can monitor app activity and debug issues once your app is live. Now let's look deeper at the Design tab, since this is where you'll spend most of your time. On the left is the Elements tree, which shows a hierarchy of every element on your page. I'm just going to demonstrate that. From the visual elements, add a group to your page, and then add another one inside it. Next, drag some text into Group B. You can see that the text sits inside Group B, which sits inside Group A, so that shows us that hierarchy of elements. We can collapse those and expand them. Select your text and in the appearance type Hello World. If you click on this icon here, you can make your element invisible and see it hide on the page, or make it visible again. Below are the visual elements. These are the building blocks of your app: text, buttons, shapes, icons, inputs, containers, and more. You'll drag these onto the page to design your interface. When you select any element, the property editor appears. It has three main tabs: Appearance, which controls how the element looks; Layout, which controls how the element sits on the page with layout options like column, row, aligned to parent or fixed; Container alignment, which determines how elements align to your group. We also have margins and padding. Lastly, we have the Conditional tab, which lets the element change based on rules like hover states or if a user is logged in. Make sure you give every element you add a meaningful name. Bubble will give it a default name, which is meaningless to you. To rename elements, just click in here. Now, what we prefer to do is keep the naming convention that Bubble gives. So a group is called group, a text is called text, but we just change this to something meaningful. So for example, rename Group A to Group Content and Group B to Group Text. For text, it does actually automatically update the name when you type the text in here, which is really useful. Another useful feature is the Reveal in the Elements tree button. When you end up with lots of elements on your page, it can be hard to find exactly where this element you've clicked on sits in the elements tree. So if you click Reveal, it will just take you straight there. At the top of the Design tab, switch into Responsive mode. This lets you test how your page adapts to different screen sizes, so you can adjust settings to make sure your app looks good on desktop, tablet and mobile. Return to the builder. Bubble also gives you utility tools to work faster. Use the search bar to quickly find elements. Keyboard shortcuts save time too. Use Command or Control click to toggle through elements and right click for contextual options. You can use copy and paste for reusing elements. Select text Hello World and copy and paste to duplicate. You have the undo and redo icons here, which are very useful and actually goes back quite a long way. For now, use undo to remove the duplicate text we made. Don't forget the issue checker. This tool highlights errors or missing configurations so you can fix them before they cause problems. Try to deal with these as they appear. I'll just show you what happens if we have an error. Select text, Hello World. Click in the text box, select Insert Dynamic Data and do a search for. If we don't complete it, it will show in red. Click outside the box. We have two issues and the checker tells us what they are. One is that we're not returning a text expression to a text box, and the other, we haven't completed what we're searching for. So if we change this to user and then count, our issues disappear and our expression turns to blue. But we want it still to say Hello World, so just put that back. Click Preview at any time to test your app in a new tab. Let's look at how our page looks when we preview. You can see our text, Hello World, here in the top right. That's the full tour of the Bubble editor. Let's have a quick review. Pages here at the top, the main tabs on the left, the elements tree next to those, visual elements below the elements tree. We also explored the property editor and responsive mode. We looked at search, preview and the issue checker. In the next lesson, we'll start building the header of your professional landing page using the Figma file as our guide. Make sure you've got the link in the description and I'll see you there.